Hello, my name is Tony Castro. I'm a yacht designer and naval architect, and we are this year celebrating 40 years in business. And I'm pleased to say we already built quite a number of boats in China. Today, I'm going to talk a little bit about the future trends in yacht design, and also how the materials and their use are changing over the years. The changes manifest themselves differently in different kinds of boats. At the very small end of the scale, of course, we have the dinghies, which most of us sailed when we were younger. And in those dinghies, there is the two extremes, some very simple ones, but also, as you probably seen already, we got the foiling moth, which has really high technology, and it's a great revolution in small boat sailing, really. Above that, somewhere between 7 meters and 10 meters, we have what we call the sports boat. And these sports boats are characterized by not having much of an interior. They are simple boats, a lot of fun, good value for money. Many of them are one designs. And I, in particular, like a 7-meter boat, which is built in China, which recently has won one of your major awards. Thank you very much. And that is a boat that is characteristic of the sports boats of today, which is, great fun boat to sail, to race, and to enjoy the sea, basically. Insofar as materials are concerned on those sports boats, there are also the two extremes. You have some very simple ones built in fiberglass and polyester resins, but you're also beginning to see some much more high-tech, using a lot of carbon fiber and a mixture of that. Some using steel aluminum rigs, but also some new ones also using carbon fiber for their rigs. Going up a little bit, around the 10-12 meter, things change a little bit. It's more mixed. You have a greater variety of boats, because also this is the biggest part of the market, let's say, the biggest market. And in these sizes, you have a bit of everything. You have racing boats, you have pure cruising boats, you have mixed, and you have boats which are sailed by a full crew. And one of the trends, I think, is actually short-handed sailing, which one can see more and more often these days. In the 12-meter range, there's a number of classes where you can sail double-handed only, and that's proving very popular, I must say, going forwards. Then, on the 12 meters to 20 meters, I'm pleased to say we just also built a new 12-meter boat in China called the Clipper 12-meter at the bottom end of that group. And that is a multi-purpose boat with not very, very high technology, but certainly plenty of new things in it, which is used to both racing, if you want, but also very much intended for learning to sail offshore, navigate, live, sail at night, for example. And that will be a very, very interesting boat to see how it is going to go in the future. As you approach the 20 meters, then you have two, I'd say, distinct groups. You have a series of very high-tech race boats, like the IMOCA and the round-the-world boats. Also, to a certain extent, my own Clipper 70, which has been going around the world for a number of years, and had some stopovers in China in the last edition of the race. And those boats are really pure race boats. Some of them, as you have seen, I'm sure, now have huge foils. They are amazingly fast, like 30 knots average speed. And they are pure race boats, either single-handed or as in one of the round the world race events, fully crewed. At the other end of the spectrum, you have nice cruising boats with a certain degree of additional luxury. And in those boats, there has been some development, but if you like, not too much. The trend is stable. I think we'll continue to see some of them built as production boats using fairly standard fiberglass and polyester resins. But insofar as the equipments, for example, and the engines, we're already seeing some changes with equipment manufacturers taking care of making equipment with lower emissions and less pollution, which is also going to be very interesting for the future going forwards. On those big cruising boats, or bigger cruising boats, let's say, foiling is really not happening yet. I guess because, with boats achieving such high speeds, it can be a bit dangerous to walk around. And unless you really want your family to wear, helmets and seatbelts, I think foils on those kind of boats, it's not going to happen overnight. And it might never really be totally suitable for that kind of relaxed and, casual sailing along the ocean. Now, one of the things we haven't mentioned is, of course, multi-hulls. So what is the trend in multi-hulls? For many, many years, we used to see racing catamarans and trimarans and not much else. But things have changed a lot recently, and looks like the trend for the future is ever more multi-hulls, both sail and power, and mostly for pleasure and for cruising, which is really a very interesting trend and a big change from what it used to happen, not so long ago. These boats offer, of course, a big platform, so they have fantastic living area, if you like, both sail and power, and I think that is really part of the attraction. You get a lot of boat for your money, and I am pretty sure that in the future we will see many more of those, hopefully some designed by ourselves included. Then, as you go bigger again to the what we call super yachts, here it's quite interesting because these boats don't really have many rules. Let's say they're not basically intended for racing. They're not restricted by specific rules like a lot of racing boats are. Of course, there's an awful lot of rules to do with safety and structural integrity, but you are relatively free to design whatever you want and to bring any level of technology that you desire. And interestingly, it is on some of these super yachts that some of the more modern technologies have developed first, because, as I said earlier, there is the freedom to do that. Alongside, of course, all these sailboats which I've mentioned, we have the world of powerboats, and the world of powerboats has very much followed this kind of trend of developing incredible new ideas and features for the pleasure of its owners. And I think that's been really, really good. Again, because of the lack of regulations other than structural and safety, we designers have had a fantastic time, designing more and more incredible features for these motorboats. And that is a trend very much to continue to offer, more for your money, more pleasure, like more interesting designs and details in some of these new powerboats is really quite incredible. Of course, it's not just the technology of the boats that has developed and is continued to develop, or its materials, which of course will continue. Titanium and other exotic materials, are ever more popular. But of course, the design tools themselves. We also have much better design tools than we used to have 20, 30 years ago. And some of them are very interesting because they give us the opportunity to explore, other design options, to compare both. I mean, take, for example, computational fluid dynamics, short for CFD, as we call it very many times. And this is a technology that allows us to compare designs and very quickly, in a matter of hours, to know if one boat is faster than the other or performs better in a certain way than the other. And this continues to develop, is getting more precise, is getting easier to use, and that is a trend going for the future. Alongside the CFD, we also have virtual reality. And virtual reality, with these goggles that you're probably familiar with, give us the opportunity to literally look at the boat from the outside, almost as if we were there, or even inside. We can navigate literally inside, walk through the boat, and have a feeling for the spaces that we design. This has been really useful to show our designs to the clients, especially the early stages, where they can get a really good feel for the spaces available. You can turn your head, you can look around. It's almost as good as if you were inside the boat. It's really incredible technology. And it's very, very useful because to us, it means we can show the design to the client much earlier than before. And also it makes him understand the design that we've produced. And we can get good feedback, one way or another. And indeed, the approval of the design that we are presenting and being able to sort of move forward and be quite efficient in the design. So I hope you enjoyed this very short summary of what's happening in my world of design, and hopefully, we'll be able to talk to you once again soon.